Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm Meek the Minx. I'm your host. I will be doing a tarot reading today. Um, I know you're looking at the video quality and you're like, what's going on there, ma'am? It's because I'm using my MacBook, and like I keep saying, MacBook hasn't updated their camera in years. So my phone isn't working where I'm currently at. As you can see, I'm in the heart of nature, baby. All right, in the heart of nature, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Um, And so I want to come on here to do a reading and to share some things, downloads. I don't know what time and space you're actually going to see this video, but I'm not supposed to overthink things. I'm just supposed to do what spirit tells me to do when to do it. Okay, roger that. All right, so let's go. So let's see. All right, so one of the downloads that came to me was talking about we do not attach. Okay, we align. We do not make attachments, we align with people. Okay, one thing I keep saying on this channel is let your spirit lead, let your spirit lead, and the physical will catch up. Okay, because everything happens in the unseen first, and then we ground it into our reality. Okay, so with that being said, you're going to meet a lot of people on the way that's supposed to help you, fully develop your skills, your intuition. Some of them will be moving through contrast, meaning they're not going to be agreeable. There's going to be situations that are going to challenge your core foundational beliefs and systems, and then how you shine through it shows the contents of your soul, the contents of your character, and then you move on accordingly. Okay, so we are grateful for those moments to actually prove to ourselves, our higher selves, what work we have done in the unconscious realm, in the soul realm, in order to transcend and become one with nature, one with Mother Earth, one with God. Okay, so yes, I know on Instagram, if you really pay attention to the spell that's being casted, right, people send you attachments. What happens when you open up that funny reel from one of your someone on your friends list? Okay, you start bonding over the content. Okay, you bond over the content. Okay, which then forms an energetic attachment. Okay, the thing is with attachments, though, is you must be able to detach. Okay, because the I would say the revolution, but the evolution happens inwardly, not outwardly, right? So any attachments will have to be detached in order to see your true resonance. Okay, which lead us into the conversation that I frequently touch upon on this channel is isolation. Okay, I am not one of those people that just think that you should just be by yourself for the rest of your life. No, that's not the point. The point is most of the internal work gets done when you're not distracted by external forces. Okay, you get to really see what things you enjoy, what things that you actually love, what things are actually in your resonance. This way it minimizes distractions from your purpose. Okay, it minimizes distractions. All right, so I know a lot of times we confuse um, loyalty with attachment. Okay, loyalty with attachment, meaning that you may have like a childhood friend or a relationship with someone that has already ran its course, but because you have problems with detaching, right, you can't fully make a shift into your best possible version of yourself. Okay, these things are coming to an end. Okay, um everyone is, well, when you say waking up, right, there's like cycles to the wake up, but at any whatever time and space you're seeing this, you're most likely have already transitioned to understanding yourself. Okay, it's just now you're probably needing some help with detaching from the past. All right, you have to really trust your new resonance when you're stepping and you're making yourself into something new. Okay, into something that's upgraded, when you're evolving as a person. Okay, you're going to have to be able to detach. Okay, and anything that's actually supposed to be in your life will return. Okay, you're the new evolved version of you is going to be such a magnetic point of attraction for everything that is in resonance with this new version. Okay, so with that being said, you have to let go of past things, including past trauma that has instilled itself in your identification. Okay, this is where like the ego stuff, because after you tell yourself something for so long, it starts being part of your identity. So as you start waking up and coming out of moods of depression and actually transforming, because you go through it's many cycles. Okay, it's not just like one day you wake up and you're like, I'm brand new. No, it's like cycles that's incorporated from knowledge that's given, right? You usually get like downloads in the ether, right? And then there's lived experience in which you now take that knowledge and you integrate it into wisdom. Okay, and then from there, when that cycle's over, you transform. You have a new pattern way of thinking, right? You on a structural level too. Your DNA starts changing because you start making different decisions, right? You're not moving in the same resonance. All right, you are supposed to change and evolve while you're here down on earth. Okay, you're not supposed to stay the same. You're not. Okay. So with that being said, the people and places and things that you interact with are also going to change. Okay, they're not going to be able to hold resonance anymore. It's part of evolving. It's part of maturing as a person. Now, don't get that wrong. You're still going to have fun. You're still going to have your inner child inside of you, that light, right, that God has given to you when you were a child. Still going to shine bright for things that you like to do. All right, that should always be true for you. Okay, but it just may look a little different. The way it expresses itself may be a little different. All right, so we make alignments, not attachments. Okay, when you're aligned with purpose, your soul purpose, right, that's when you start seeing the people around you who are also in resonance with that alignment. All right, either they fall out of alignment, that's okay. You don't hold any grudges. All right, it's not one other person's duty to uphold you. Okay, on this channel we stand firm on carrying your own shadow. You carry your own shadow and you carry your own light. All right, because if you really step into the sunlight, when you look down, it's your shadow that you're gonna have. All right, and I know I'm fully aware that there's like cults, right, organizations in which people try to disperse their shadows through the many to, I guess, relieve or slow down their karmic debt. Okay, because it's probably too deep. They probably fell too far down from grace. Okay, and I'm only laughing because they can climb up, but they may take their life this lifetime. It may take their life this lifetime. All right, so don't get yourself caught up in this kind of nonsense and these organizations that are really just stealing your own power. Really, okay, they're stealing your own light in order to mask their darkness. Okay, I won't even say darkness, but I don't want to overthink it. But you understand what I'm trying to say. All right. Some people have done a lot of evil, right? Meaning, when I say evil on this channel, we're talking about how do they handle vulnerability of other living things, including the earth, which is a living, breathing, sentient being. Okay. During their vulnerable state, or what seems to be vulnerable. Okay. I used to say that because sometimes things aren't vulnerable, but they just want to see what you do. All right. They just want to see what you do. All right, and this is where we have like the two masters, right? One that's here to teach you, discipline you in a lessons for the things that you actually put out into the world, you get back. And then the ones who actually reward you or accept you, like, okay, you belong here with the Gentiles, you belong over here with the people who try their best to do unto others as they wish to be done unto them. Okay. Because it's a choice at the end of the day. Everything that we do is a choice, and we try to make the best choices the best way we know possible. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about is this psychosis thing, right? I know I follow different people. Cosmic Paradox is one of my favorites. I go check out her page. I love how her mind works. I just like seeing the light of God in her. Okay. But she, as well as neuro, they talk about this thing about psychosis, right? And I think this is part of everyone's awakening journey when they start establishing who they are, and when their spirit is like, it's time to take flight, right? Because our physical reality is just not cutting it anymore. Okay. You will go through psychosis. People go through this when they use a lot of plant medicine, right? It trips something off in your neuron pathways, the way that you think. Okay, and this, we also talk about it, like we reference this as our higher self. It's like your spirit is being called. You don't even have to do plant medicine. Sometimes your spirit is just initiating you into a new reality. It's time. It's like the timer went off and it's just like, hey, you, wake up now. Okay, that was my situation. I didn't take anything. I just was experiencing a great deal of depression, which also is a sign of the trigger of the psychosis. Okay, meaning your spirit is bigger than your current reality. All right. And this happened to me when I was actually serving, okay, in the military. All right, which was bringing a lot of depressive like symptoms, okay, suicidal like thoughts. All right, because my spirit was in an artificial environment, okay, for quite some time. All right, so these are all signs, okay, that you're being called, you're being spiritually initiated into something bigger than what your current reality is being able to produce. Okay, so we talk about psychosis, and by the definition of psychosis is the loss of contact with reality. Okay, they reference things like schizophrenia, and what I was saying is like psychosis. Yeah, so your spirit goes forth, and it's like it's being called to a higher purpose, right? Your spirit actually leaves your body a lot when you go to sleep. That's where you have these dreams, right? You can go different places without the physical. Okay, um, and I believe you could even access it through I think it's theta waves. You can access the subconscious and subconscious realm where you're able to actually peer through, have full recordings of the subconscious moving around in spirit, okay, without the walls or barriers of the physical plane. All right. So when people enter states of psychosis, which can be triggered by anything. Could literally spirit could be initiating you. Or you could be I guess I call it force initiated by some kind of spiritual practice or a um plant medicine, plant medicine, right? That sometimes people abuse. Are you okay? Thank God. That sometimes people abuse, or we're not going to get into addiction frequency. That's going to be a whole another thing. Okay. But psychosis literally means that you're out of touch reality. Yes. Okay. Um, Here's the thing: some people get initiated and they don't have good grounding. Okay. Either they're moving in a survival situation, and this way you got a lot of people who are like schizophrenia, schizo. Um, they are experiencing schizophrenia like on the streets, right? We see them a lot in New York. There's a lot of people who do drugs, like maybe cocaine, and they literally just detach from their current grounded reality. They have left their body, and they have no signs of wanting to return. Okay, they're literally living off in spirit, and then their body is just like the way, way, way afterthought. They're so high, like they're gone. Okay, um, and I know, like, as a kid, I used to laugh like, oh, this is crazy, but it's really not a laughing matter. Okay, it's just that we've been placed in societies that are not natural; they're artificial. Okay, and to those of us that belong to the earth, okay, or are stewards of this planet, it's going to be very hard for us to maintain that for long periods of time. All right, something in us starts breaking away. Okay, yeah. So to avoid psychosis, you have to be able to balance the spiritual and the physical. You have to find that balance. It's very, very important. It's very important to balance the spiritual, the unseen, and the physical. All right. Next thing I did here, you never let the right hand never lets the left hand know what it's doing. Right. The way that's supposed to go is because always going to have you're always going to have your left and right hemispheres of your brain. Okay, one controls the unseen and more creative. The other one controls more of the logical and more physical stuff. Okay, um, as far as interpretation and comprehension. Okay, so with that being said, within yourself you have this battle between your higher and lower selves. Okay, your physical self and then your spiritual self. All right. One doesn't let the other one know what they're doing because it doesn't want to self-sabotage. Okay, one has trouble letting go. Yeah. All right, and not understanding that 1 + 1 = 2, but sometimes 1 + 1 = 3, right? And I know a lot of people get upset, and I'll give you the code for that in a few of why that makes sense in the spiritual sense. Okay, it's a riddle. All right, and I will say one thing: melanated people are very good at having double, triple entendres. Okay, this is another thing about interpreting and awakening to your DNA. Like on a cellular level, we are way above than just having low context cultural. We are very high context cultural people. Okay, that's why there's codes. That's why we have all these, I guess, occult knowledge where you could go and watch a movie and this person may have these eyes, this perception to see that, the other eyes over here, right? We are linked by this. It's a high context cultural society. Okay. And it doesn't matter which part of the planet that you are born into, whether you are Americana melanated, or you're African melanated, or you're Caribbean melanated. We all have this fundamental thing in our culture. Okay. Whereas other people you may have to spell every single thing for them to even try to grasp the fraction of what it is we're trying to talk about. Okay, because it moves across all planes of existence, mental, spiritual, and physical. Okay. Every one of our art forms are like that. Okay, and the more you tap in, the more you actually get connected to your roots. Okay, the more that becomes more apparent in your everyday. Okay, but like I said, everything you do is a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice to activate certain DNA, and it's a choice to actually leave it alone. Okay. um yeah, time, energy, and resources convey that. Okay, so yes, you are going to experience some form of psychosis as you're going along your journey. It's just you have to be able to get back grounded. Okay, do not leave your body behind. Okay, your body is going to be there, and the part of you that doesn't let the other side, the, the spiritual side of you that doesn't let the physical side of you know what is going on, requires your presence. Okay, that's why too much planning is not good. You must leave room for divine alignment. You must leave room for the divine hand of God. Okay. um yeah, she's pretty amazing at that. Okay, it's at a divine feminine energy. Okay. um if you even think about it, like the high priestess card, which is always very feminine, right? It's a feminine energy. It doesn't speak too much because it doesn't have to. It requires alignment, and it requires you for you to trust your intuition. Another big thing I want to talk about is when people actually start getting initiated, right, and they undergo psychosis. Now, whether or not this is initiated through plant medicines, whether it be mushrooms or marijuana, um, you are going to start seeing things. Is the hallucinogens, right? And this when people say, "Oh, you're out of touch with reality." You're out of touch with your current physical reality. It does not mean what you're seeing is not accurate. Okay? So this is where people start getting, "Oh, she's crazy." No, because you're not seeing what I'm seeing because I'm on a different level of consciousness. All right? So some places you have no business, but because they can't deceive your sense and you have unlocked this part of your eyes that you can see different spirits, you can see different creatures that are walking amongst you. Okay? People are going to call you crazy, but really they know what they're carrying. Most of them. Okay? But they just don't want others to know. So this is why you have to, again, you have to be able to ground. You have to be able to be secure in your environments and know where you are welcomed and know when you are where you are not welcomed. Okay? Because once you gain the eyes to see and the ears to hear, it's really hard to deceive you. All right? You're moving with a different kind of entities. You're moving with a different kind of spirits. All right? And so with that being said, you need to be fully trusting your intuition. This is where a lot of places in Babylon or institutions that do not want you to be in touch with yourself, okay, they want to stop that connection from strengthening. Okay, because then you fall into the way of you get away from being easily manipulated. Okay, trust it. You have to be able to trust your higher self, trust your physical body to also, because your body is sentient as well. Okay, highly functioning sensory inputs. Okay, so that's when you know when to move. You ever go to a party or something, you're like, we should leave now. I feel it. We got to go right now. And that was the thing that saved your life. Okay, when you get drunk, when you do actually, I would say even alcohol can be something that triggers your psychosis. Okay, I'm gonna sit with that a little bit longer with spirit. Um, because I know it lowers like your frequency to a certain level, so you're probably on that level to see those things, but it's still a point of connection, right, for certain spirits, right? And not all spirits mean you harm, like I said, right? It's just the frequency in which they are dwelling at. All right, it's like you literally plug it in. right? Think about if you were on your phone and you start dialing a number, right? Those are the coordinates that you're calling to reach somebody. It's the same thing when you partake in different foods, when you eat certain things, when you drink alcohol, certain spirits that you're literally dialing in, okay, internally. Then you set off like a resonance call for whoever in your vicinity has that same resonance spiritually. They will be attracted. All right, they'll be attracted. Um, so that's why you notice people who do certain drugs, whether it be cocaine, they just meet up in certain places at the same time. Is their internal? They have an internal communication going on. They're like, all the crackheads are going to meet here at this certain time. All the people that smoke weed, they're going to meet here. There's something that's calling them. Okay, it's something that's calling them. It works for everything, anything. Like, let's say I ate lentils, right? When I eat lentils, it sends off this signal. Like, everybody who ate lentils, we are feeling like doing this now. We're gonna go here. It's like it's a calling. It's a vibration. Okay. Same thing with people who eat meat. Okay. Um. So who? This is how you have many different realities in one world. Okay. It's that kind of concept. All right. I might have to post this one and then do the reading in a separate video. I think that's smart. Okay. So that's what I want to touch upon with psychosis. Okay. It's all about, yes, you're going to go through this psychosis, and it doesn't mean that what you're seeing is not real. It doesn't mean that none of that. It's not that you're not valid. It's just now that you have eyes to see, you have to be able to implement it in this new, because you can't go back. Once you open certain doors of the subconscious mind, you can't close them. Okay. You can only move with what you got now and allow certain passages, or yeah, you just have to move with what you got now. Okay. And deny access to whomever needs to be denied access. Okay. So yeah, trust yourself. In all of this, you need to be able to trust yourself. Okay. And that you also have support. Okay. You have support. You're never really alone. I promise you that. All right. So I know I was talking about that loneliness. Did I say that? I think that was the last thing I need to talk about. Isolation versus loneliness, which I talk about quite a bit on my channel. I think I referenced it earlier in this video. Yeah, you're going to be isolated, okay, because you're not really by yourself. There's things that need to happen. There's different meeting points for different spirits that are here to help you once you've attained certain, when you balance your psychosis, right? When you understand that both things exist, the reality and the physicality are moving as one to help you move to a certain level of understanding and placement for your best possible timeline. Okay, because I don't know why else would anybody listen to anything I'm saying or anybody else saying on the internet if it's not for your best possible timeline. Let that be the foundation of anything that you are doing. Any door that you're opening, make sure that it's for your best possible outcome, not for anybody else, not for nothing like that. Okay, just for you. What is it that you let everything that you do align with your best possible timeline? Okay, this is going to save you from a lot of the people pleasing nonsense and also distractions, being distracted. Okay, it's going to keep you from a lot of envious energy. Okay, just be mindful. Okay, I remember everything takes time. Everything takes time. Okay, so be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself, just like how Mother God, Mother Gaia, Mother God is patient with us, very extremely patient with us. All right, all right. Catch you next video for the actual reading.